Sasstastic Life with hosts Trisha Rivas and Wendy Fredrigo.
Hello!
Hello, everyone.
We are super excited. Jill is in the house. She is our first guest.
Oh my gosh. No pressure.
We are welcoming Jill Lippincott.
Thank you.
You are Sasstastic.
Oh my gosh. When I first heard about this, I was like, maybe they'll let me be on it eventually to be the first.
You drew your name out of a hat. No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
well, we did.
We did.
That's fair.
We
That's fair.
did.
I just kept denying the scheduling dates till I moved up to the top.
Exactly.
I know it works.
Perfect. That's perfect.
So our show, we're all about, this isn't an hour-long show. This is 20, 25 minutes. So we're just jumping in.
Okay.
We're diving in.
Right.
We're here to talk about hardship, but we're also here to have fun.
Good. All right. Those are my favorite kinds of things to do.
Exactly. So we are going to have your bio and information in the notes. People can check that out.
Okay.
We're here to talk about you, Jill, as a human.
All right.
Now, obviously, your work, your family defines you too, but that's what we're excited to talk about is just you as a human.
You're an amazing human.
Oh, well, thank you.
You know how
Because of
much mad
people
love I
like
have.
You that tell me that, both of you.
Now, you guys met first because I met Jill
Yeah.
through Trisha. So
Yeah.
just give us a quick run through of how you guys met.
At a bar.
Yeah. Generally, that's where I pick up most of my friends. I met Trisha through work and through just being aware of your work. But we had met when I first started working at this program where I certified women businesses, and you had presented at a local event, and I had said, hey, I know you're part of the program. And I think at that event you had said very honestly, and it was one of the first time that I had been talked to that way, when somebody had said, honestly, I've not had any value with this program. And I was like, oh, okay. But it was those types of conversations, real conversations, that actually made me want to make it better.
Yes.
And bring value to people like you, because quite honestly, Trisha's a rock star. So if she's not finding value, then we're not doing it right.
She brought the sass like right away.
Right away. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Jill, as she does with everything, did bring the value to the program. And the program is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And you have left and I am going to say legacy, because you really have, my friend. You really, really have. And it's growing into amazing things and helping so many small business owners.
Well, that became such a passion for me and helped me really find myself. Talk about, kind of work helping you find out who you are and helping define you. It really did, because people became important to me. It wasn't about the work. It was about the people who were impacted by it, like Trisha. And I really saw what that meant. And I wanted to be around people like Trisha who had Trisha's energy. And if that meant making this better, then I was going to do that. So it became a passion project, but more also because it became who I was.
And you do love people.
Oh.
And I know when Wendy and I were talking about what we wanted to talk with you about was inventing, but most importantly, reinventing yourself as a woman. And what does that look like, and how uncomfortable it can be, and exciting, and all of that good stuff. So like Wendy said, we're going to jump right into all the goodness.
Well, I've done that a few times, so yay.
And we want to talk about that, because a lot of women are reinventing themselves right now. We're reinventing ourselves. This is something that we're doing right now.
I'm on my third career. Why not?
Right.
Now, sometimes we have to reinvent, maybe not by choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other times there's a choice. So when is the first time that you had to reinvent yourself, or switch paths from where you thought you were going?
Oh, goodness. Let's see. When I looked at a pregnancy test when I was 23, probably, and my senior year of college, and I was like, oh, this isn't going to turn out the way that I thought it did. So yeah, I right away was a young mom. Not a lot of people know that, but which is why I love when people are like, you have a 20-year-old? I'm like, I know, right?
I know.
But yeah, I was a young mom. So that took just a lot of different turns than I didn't expect, but so thankful for, the lessons I learned. And I didn't have friends doing that at the same time. That was probably the biggest thing. And so it was I mean, I felt like an outsider a lot of the times. My friends were going to the bars, meeting Trisha at that point. That's where we would have met. And, I was home. So I had to find a job right away, figure out health insurance, like all the stuff you don't really worry about until later. And then I think I had to figure out kind of what do I actually want to do? Where most people didn't have to figure out that out until later. But I was also in Colorado at the time, so got to kind of have fun and explore and be on my own without lots of people watching. So I moved away from home, and that was kind of nice because I can make mistakes and didn't have to come home to mom and dad and be like, "Oh, sorry." But then moving to Des Moines and moved to Des Moines when I was 30, had to create a whole new set of friends, and even I would say throughout that process, that's changed from when I turned 40. And at 40, I feel like I've gone through a different transformation. And I don't know, I've talked to so many people who are like, yeah, 40 is like, yeah, it gets real. Shit gets real at 40.
It does.
Like your body is like, all right, cool. We're going to like start the exit process and hold on tight. And you just gravitate to the people who are real and who have been through it and who are willing to talk about it. And who want to support you. That was the biggest thing is I think I realized I wanted to put my energy where my energy was supported back and vice versa, that I could support others' energy. And there was just no competing. I mean, I just love the culture you've created, Trisha, of women supporting women. And same, Wendy. I mean, why we have to be competitive in a lot of respects. And I think that came out with a lot of the targeted small business stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, so like as a teen girl and in your 20s, you're kind of forced into friend groups, right?
Yeah.
And then you have little babies. So it's not like you're out socializing. So it's all about being a mom for a while. And then all of a sudden, you wake up and you're 35 and you're like, I don't really have any friends.
Yes.
Right
And
away.
like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't fit with those same people before. And so you're just kind of like, well, now what? And a lot of times the other moms at the school weren't necessarily my vibe or my,
Yeah.
and so I feel like networking, because she encouraged me to network when I switched jobs, like that's where I've met my people and people who are think the same as you, challenge you, who see a version of you that maybe you don't see yet.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. When people say you've got a thing,
Yes.
you have got this thing and you don't even know it, but here's how we're going to help you nurture it and see that in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. Because right around 40 was when my then son went to college and I was like, oh, okay, I've been doing this since I was 23. Who am I now? What
Yes.
do I like to do for free time? Because I didn't have any before. And so it was exactly that, exactly finding the people who help to pull out the things. Like you said, I like people. I like being around people. I just didn't know how to cultivate that into something and how to build upon a network of people that you kind of curate
Yes.
and then bring in certain people and let certain people go that you have to say, hey, I'm not going to feel guilty about letting this one go. That was probably the biggest revelation, is that I don't have to keep people around just because.
Or just because there's longevity there.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when do you think it was at around 40 that you really are like, yeah, I've got to cut my ties. You know what? I can care for you from a distance. Our time together was obviously for a reason. But as we get older, those female relationships are so important. And as Wendy said from the very beginning, you want to have friends that there's no fluff.
Yeah.
Like you want to be able to call them at 2:00 in the morning. Hey, I need you right now. I need to talk. Can you pick up the phone and can you listen?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And a lot of that has happened. I have found my most best friends through networking.
Yeah.
Here in Des Moines. What about you?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And you're right. I think that's a good distinction of, as you let those people go, there's no animosity.
No.
They came into your life for a reason, and it's okay. Just like you had relationships and friendships in high school that are not as strong anymore, to acknowledge that you don't have to continue that if it's not as vibrant for you. But yes, I called up a girlfriend just the other day, sitting in my car outside of a restaurant after I just left and had kind of an explosion at the restaurant about an emotion I was dealing with. And I think my husband was like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to just pay the check and we're going to go." And we were driving separate cars home, and I called her up and I was like, "Here's this thing and I just need to cry." And she's like, "I am here. What's going on?" Yeah, you've got to have those people who aren't going to, try to tell you all the things that, cliche, whatever. They're just going to be like, "This is real. You can feel this emotion. It's okay. And you can move on. But for right now, let's feel this together."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's a game changer.
It is. And those are the best girlfriends that you need to have when you are reinventing yourself.
Yes.
Isn't it? I mean, because they help to remind you who you are.
Yeah.
What you stand for, because sometimes at the moment it's like your whole world is just crashing down around you and you don't even know who you are.
Yeah. I think the best piece of advice or sort of help that I got as a part of that was two things can be true at the same time. Oh my gosh, you can be going through it and you can also be reinventing yourself. Those two things can exist at the same time and it's okay. You don't have to have this perfected as you get to the next stage. You don't have to have this tied up and feel like, okay, I've learned this lesson. Now I'm moving on. And to be able to hold two things and have space for them and still be able to say, but I want this, but I'm still kind of dealing with this over here. I was like, oh, crazy concept.
Yeah, I know. Crazy
Yes.
concept.
I love that. Like instead of things being this or that,
Yeah.
it's this and.
Yeah.
So I think as a young mom, a lot of times you think you're just supposed to drop everything. And to be a good mom, you have to be a present 100% of the time. But it's like, I can be a great mom and work on myself.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose.
No, I just saw a meme the other day. I think I reshared it where I was like, it was like, I love it when I get to spend time with my kids. And I love it when my kids aren't here. I was like, yes, why? We need to be able to say this. Moms need to be able to say this with no judgment. It's okay to feel okay about both of those things. Because yes, I love when my son comes home from school. I also loved last weekend when my husband and son were away for the weekend. I had the house to myself. It was amazing.
Yes.
Spent the weekend with myself. Oh my gosh, best weekend ever.
Yes.
I love that.
Love them both.
Oh, yeah. So looking back, how many times throughout your life do you feel like you have reinvented yourself?
Yeah, I mean, so.
And what have you learned, Jill?
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about that. What have you learned?
As a young mom, and then really, again, kind of coming into my professional life. And also, I think, owning myself, owning who I was. That's what I think I learned really with that last reinvention of I am going to own who I am. This is one of the things I've told people of like, I'm never going to be this put together person. Listen, I had like Cheetos in the corner of my mouth when I got here that I had to rub out, just so you know. I'm never going to be the put together person that everybody is like, this is not me. That's okay. That's just who I am. And if I can offer just that authenticity, I've just learned to embrace it. I have wrecked probably more cars than my insurance company knows about. I'm a hot mess most of the time, and that's just who I am. But if I can be real and let others know that both things can be true, you can be a hot mess and you can be successful. Yeah. I think that was when I finally was like, and this is what I am. And if you don't like it, all right, cool. Thank you next. That I think was the biggest lesson to. It's still hard. I mean, it's not like we don't read the comments. Not like I'm getting comments, but feedback and stuff, yes. Of course. But to know that at the end of the day, like this is the one life we get, right? So I think your comment of why not, then why not me? If you have all of these dreams and things you want to do, why not? Why not me? Why wouldn't I become that person that gets to do those things? Why is that reserved for somebody else? So now I think I've turned this corner into how do I get there and versus this like, oh, that would be nice one day. I'm actively planning to get there, which I never did before. So I'm journaling now. This is my new evolution. I journal now. I'm a journaler. They should not have given me stickers with that journal because
I was going to say my journal would just be stickers.
Yeah, I have multicolored pens and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of your non-negotiables as you have reinvented yourself and learned along the way? Because we do start to have non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about boundaries. Like,
Exactly.
oh, I didn't know that was a thing until like,
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I love that Brene Brown quote of I will not negotiate on who I am. And, I'll negotiate on, price for my contract or whatever, but who I am and what I offer. Boundaries is one. And I have a firm belief that if you cross my boundaries and make it awkward, I don't have to feel bad about making it awkward to say no. That's probably the biggest thing that for the longest time, I was like, oh, yeah, this happened, but I feel bad now if I make it awkward to say like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
Nope. You crossed the boundary first. So I'm just going to let you know this is where I'm at. And guilt. That's probably the biggest thing too. Oh, right. Like guilt is a thing that we are all, why are we all, such a tethered to this? I mean, it is something that I am trying still really hard to say, am I doing this because I want to, or because I feel really guilty that I have to? And I think there's this mentality of you're a good girl, you're a good person if you do this, if you do the right thing. And I'm trying to give that up a lot more. So that's kind of when I'm becoming a non-negotiable. I also really just draw the line at any microaggressions, female microaggressions.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Give us an example.
So I give kids examples every day. I come home and I'm like, listen to what happened today, and you need to know not to do this. We talk a lot about, and I apologize, this is the term that's used, but it can happen anywhere. I've had it happen to various genders, but mansplaining. And just the assumption that because of my gender, I don't know what I'm talking about. And so somebody coming into a situation and then explaining a thing that I have been an expert, the expert in the state on a topic, and I've had somebody explain it to me because they just assumed I didn't know what that was. And so I just am like, okay, thanks. And, I've learned not to necessarily push back. My dad used to have a saying, it does no good to be rude to rude people. I make some exceptions. I'll tell another story about that another time. But I try to really just draw the boundary of like, I'm not going to further engage. Yeah. If this, and I've made it clear, a couple times when people have talked over me in meetings or whatever, I let them know that that's not okay. And I do have something to say.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And microaggressions to other people. I mean, that doesn't stop with just me. When I see that being done to other people for gender or race or lifestyle, that's a non-negotiable. I become a lot more vocal about it, and I know that the team at home will say, yeah, even at home over the dinner table, we get lectures. And my hope is that, as much as mom may be, bringing a lot of this stuff back, it's just a lot of like, hey, well, you don't have to go and learn this. Now you know, and we can become better people out in the world.
Well, a lot of it's just about being self-aware.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just being self-aware. Because Trisha and I have talked about this a lot. Probably the worst microaggressions I've had have been from other women.
Yes.
And it's so frustrating to me.
Yeah.
Because when we support each other, like we can be unstoppable. But this cutting people down or this like,
no,
I've never, that's the one thing I have no time for.
I have absolutely no time for. I have no time for you talking about how she looks, what she's wearing.
Yeah.
Nothing. No. We are not talking about that. And our family knows too, if they come home and describe a situation that you do not talk about the person in any of those terms. Yeah. That's not how we start describing the person.
Exactly.
And even just talking about young women and saying like, oh, well, she's really, really pretty. I'll say, is she also really smart and brave, and just trying to change that conversation of where we even start from.
I think too, I'm kind of going through a situation right now where in my past life, my evolving, I would have been passive aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like, no, that's icky.
Yeah.
That's icky. I'm not even going to put any energy into it. And I will deal with it the way that I know now how to deal with it and not give it that energy and move on. And I don't know about you guys, but that feels really, really good when you get to that, when
Yeah.
you get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a good brain trust of women that I text when I want to get passive aggressive. And they'll say the same thing, like, it's not worth your time. Because I had a situation like with a doctor, a male doctor, and I was like, I almost walked out of that office in tears. I feel like they need to know this. I'm going to go back into my portal and I'm going to tell them. And they were like, just go find another doctor. Go spend your money elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And that will be enough to know, I'm taking my time and energy elsewhere. Yeah. It's tough, but you make that turn and it is like, okay, well, then you're not carrying that toxic energy.
Exactly.
With you.
But how awesome would it have been knowing that when we were in our 20s?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to develop an app, and it's just this like brain trust of women you can carry with you in your pocket to be like, should I respond this way? And they'll be like, no, sweetie, come on. Here's just
give it a rating.
Yeah.
A scale from 1 to 10.
Exactly.
I'm always like, block. Just hit block.
Just block. Oh my gosh, block feature. Love it. That has been the best tool ever. Like, you don't get access to me. I don't need to see what you're doing. You know what? We can exist and not worry about it.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, but I swear, I mean, but also it works. I think the same for imposter syndrome. That's been I feel like I'm getting on the tail end of that, but I've had to text my brain trust to be like, this is happening. I'm interpreting it this way. Is this what it is? And they're like, nope, that is not that at all. That person just, has a bad day or whatever. And so trying to reinterpret that narrative that we tell ourselves, that's probably one of those lessons I've learned along the way. Still sometimes learning it.
Yeah. And I think too, like us three sitting here, women of action, and putting ourselves out there, we open up ourselves to more also.
Oh, yeah.
We do. We open up ourselves to criticism, to feedback. And you have to have very strong shoulders, very strong shoulders sometimes.
Yeah.
But again, going back to Brene Brown, I love her, if you're not in the same arena as me, but please, I don't care for your feedback.
Yeah.
I don't care for your feedback.
Doing it.
Yes, exactly. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I didn't tell a lot of people about my story about being a young mom, even until just recently. And my son and I have talked about this too, because he's kind of in the same space. And it's not a one of shame. I have no shame about being on food stamps and living in a 1-bedroom basement apartment and sharing a room. It is, I didn't want to open that up to anybody else's opinion of how we should have made different choices or how we should have done. You know what? You weren't there. You weren't in that arena with me. And unless you were, you don't get to have an opinion or a vote.
Yeah.
But I do like for people to know it, because knowing what you see today is not what has always been there. And that I think is important to know, because I learn more from people's falters, from the mistakes they've made along the way and how they're still standing, and knowing that, you didn't have this easy path and you're still up on that stage behind that podium, what have you. Okay, I can get through whatever is in front of me.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love
that.
that.
We're gonna pop up when we edit this. We're gonna pop up a picture of you on your 18th birthday. So let's do a little time travel.
Okay.
And if we could time travel back to that day, or blonde Jill, what advice would you give her? You only have a few minutes.
Okay.
What advice would you give her?
I would tell her to not be as reactive to all of the things. Very quick to react back then.
Yes.
And to maybe take care of your skin a little bit more. That's the one thing I literally, I'm like, go back and moisturize. You should have been moisturizing. Seriously.
That's awesome.
But also to just, gosh, I wish I could say it'll be okay. There was so much worry, so much, I mean, just being terrified. And not knowing where to put that. And I think now we have so many more resources and people that we know are going through the same thing, to say like, hey, I'm really scared. And I wish I could say to her, you're going to be okay.
Do you think she would listen?
No. Nope. No. She was way crazy and all sorts of stuff.
She would have sassed back.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Driven off in my Geo Metro.
Oh my gosh, my
Hatchback.
sister had one.
I thought it
Those
was
were so
awesome.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I
so
was so excited when I got one.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
you know, those were, I always think back to such easier times. But then I think like, oh my gosh, no, it just seemed like it was drama always. And I always am like, what did I do with all my money? Like,
Yeah.
I worked all the
I
time.
know.
Where did all that money
Yes.
go?
Yes.
So I feel like we've never had enough money because it's always
Mm-mm.
gone. So even then, you know, so, you know, some things stay the same.
Yeah. What is in the future for Jill?
Well, all this journaling, I hope, leads to somewhere. I actually have my undergrad as a journalism degree, and I've always felt like there was a book somewhere in there. And, but also, you know, how we tell ourselves the story of like, I didn't think I had anything to say. You know, I didn't think that I had anything worth, you know, contributing. And now I finally feel like I might. So starting to kind of put thoughts around that. And I think just being able to continue to grow and network and find people who feed energy and I can give energy to in the same way. That's actually been on my goals for this month is to really pour more into the friendships that I really love and support because I want to be that kind of person. I mean, just to be consistent in the ways that I show up for people.
And
I
that can
love
be
that.
simple, like just a text, like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little things.
Exactly. And yeah, I have had people do that for me. And so those are, I think, some of those growth spaces of like, just know if I haven't texted you, by the way, that I've thought about you, I need to text it though. So yeah, I think about all these people all the time, but yeah, getting it out and making those connections.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Okay,
that.
so when the movie version of your book is made,
Oh.
what actress do you want to play you?
Yes.
Oh
yes,
goodness,
We can put in
that's
a good word.
question.
Yes, we could.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big fan of Sandra Bullock.
I was literally going to say it needs to be Sandra Bullock.
I could see that.
So I think
could see
she
that.
lives very authentically as well.
Yes.
And I like that. Yeah.
All right.
Who would be your love interest?
Oh. Anybody tall, dark, and handsome. I'm sorry,
I knew
Derek.
you were going to say
Yeah.
that. I knew you were gonna say
He's
that.
like, what? How is it? Every celebrity I name is like tall, dark, and long hair. And he's like, what? I don't even fit that profile. Jared Leto. Yeah.
Oh gosh, Jeremy and I are the same way. He
Yeah.
likes Selma Hayek. I'm like, oh, okay. First of all, I'm.
Could she be any more different than you?
I'm blonde.
Yeah.
And white. I mean, there's nothing here
No, well,
comparable.
we want what we can't have.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, I have no doubt that you are going to write the book for sure.
Thank you.
For sure.
Well, if you guys will be some guest contributors or
Oh,
write the
yes.
intro, that would be wonderful.
Mhm.
I'm going to be hitting up all my friends for
Yeah.
all of these things. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's going to be a collective effort, and I'm going to need as many names in
Oh
it
my
as
gosh,
I can
yes.
get to get this thing launched. So
Yeah. Oh my
I'll
gosh.
name drop. I'm not above that.
No.
yeah.
No.
Okay, we better not piss her off for the next 3 years.
Exactly.
We don't wanna End up on the wrong side of the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, well, maybe.
I'll block
Maybe.
you.
Yeah.
I will block you.
And I will come to your home. You know I will.
She will. She will. Okay, so we wanted to do something fun. So we were talking about how we loved game shows when we were little. And so I know that we just
Oh,
had some
good.
serious
Oh,
talk, but
wow.
we want to have,
Okay.
you get to spin the wheel and give it a good spin.
All right.
And that just hold it. It's not fully on. I don't want to.
Oh,
There you go.
I'll hold it, Jill.
Okay.
Ooh, I love the ticking. Wait,
Give
can
it
I
a good,
spin?
I mean,
spin.
come on.
There you go.
Yes.
There we go.
What'd you get?
Oh, embarrassing moment.
Oh gosh.
There's
This is a
been so
perfect one for
many.
Jill. This is a
I was going
perfect
to say,
one
I
for
have
Jill.
so many.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Maybe your
trying to
most recent one.
I'm trying to think of the ones that are appropriate.
No, we like
We want
inappropriate.
the inappropriate ones. We can edit stuff out if we really need to,
Yeah.
but we won't.
You guys, I mean, I think probably one of my most embarrassing moment, this is terrible. This might need to be edited out just because like of all the things, I'm going to Spain in
Yes.
2 weeks. I lived in Mexico. I
Yes.
speak Spanish.
Mhm.
I'm putting this out there.
Mhm.
I support and advocate for all of our cultural heritage in Des
Yes.
Moines.
Yes, you do.
And first couple weeks we were in Des Moines and we were driving down the street and I pointed out a restaurant this is one my family has yet to let me live down.
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Oh, that restaurant looks good, 5 de Mayo."
Jill, do you know my mom did the exact same thing?
Oh my gosh.
Are you talking about on Southeast 14th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom did the exact same thing.
They were like, "You
We
mean
still joke with her about
Cinco
it.
de Mayo?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I was like, I don't get it.
Yes.
Mom did the same thing.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to tell them that
Yeah.
because still to this day, they're like, we'll be like, "Where do you guys want to go for dinner?" And they're like, "How about 5 de Mayo, Jill?" I'm mortified. Mortified.
You're bilingual. You just
I-
automatically, you
Yeah.
know.
I was like, maybe they use 5 different kinds of mayos on their sandwiches. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't wait to call my mom and tell her that you did this.
I was like, maybe they have really good aioli. Like, it was bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm very thankful, and I will tell them as well. I am not the only one.
no, nope. Mom's done the exact
but
same
they
thing.
were like, "Jill, of all people." I mean, and that's fair. So yeah,
Oh my gosh. That's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah. I love it.
5 de Mayo. I'm gonna put that on my license plate. Just
Yeah.
to be like, this is me. I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just know I'm the first person to call myself that. I
Yeah.
will label myself that first. Yes.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
think how many people probably, though, have done that.
I mean,
We're probably going to get all kinds of comments that, yes, I did the exact same thing.
yeah.
You know?
We should
my
go
God,
there.
right.
We should
We
go
should.
there on May 5th
Yeah.
and
Yes.
be like, "Hey, you know
Yes.
what?
Yes.
Righting our wrongs. Here we are."
Yes.
Yes.
Believe it or not, the Trixies gals, we do the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Uh,
We go there every St. Patrick's Day parade and eat.
really?
It's just been a tradition of ours that we've always done since we've been in the parade.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Not at all like
No,
connected.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I'm glad you knew exactly what I was talking about because
over
if
here
you've
like, I don't
seen
get
the
it.
sign, but you've got it, put it in the show notes. If you've seen the sign, you can
We
see
should.
how I would mix that up.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also just shows you, how context matters. And I
yes.
needed to put myself in a different context.
I love it.
Anyway.
So,
Oh,
to wrap
gosh.
things up, something that just popped in my head. So, if you could give advice to a young mom, someone who's in their early 20s,
Oh my gosh.
and life kind of threw them something they weren't expecting, what advice would you give them?
I was just talking to my son, Kale, who, again, just proudest thing I've ever done. And he is now a sophomore in college, almost 20. God. And I was saying to him, I'd never fathomed you being 20 years old when you were, and I had just gotten, I'd been in the pharmacy picking up a prescription. A young mom was standing in front of me holding this baby, picking up meds for the baby. And I just was thinking, oh my God, I remember being there. I remember there was no one at home to take care of the kid while I went to the pharmacy. It was, me and him against the world. And you live every moment in that moment and almost in crisis a little bit. And you don't think about like, there will be a moment when your kid is 20 years old one day and you get to take a step back and enjoy that. So to remember that no matter where you're at, no matter like how stressful it is, whatever moments are you're struggling through, take that time to just be there with them because they'll be 20 years old one day.
Yeah.
And you'll miss that.
Yeah.
I wanted to smell that baby at the front.
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh.
I'm over here crying.
I know.
Jeez.
I love that.
So
Yeah, it's true though. Yeah, it's true.
there will be better days.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there will be. Yes, for sure.
Well, thanks for bringing your sass.
Oh my goodness. Thank you
my
for
gosh.
I mean, even including me in this circle, I'm just like, I feel so lucky.
Oh, well, we're the ones that are lucky, truly, and we mean that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we're excited to see what you keep evolving with, and hopefully we'll be doing some stuff together with
Go
some
on your book tour.
with
We'll be
some
your agents.
ideas. Oh yes, I'll have to come on and do your hair and makeup
Well,
for the
yeah,
book tour.
absolutely. And then when I'm going to launch, you guys will have
Yeah.
to be a stop.
E-
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I love it. Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
no, but thank you truly for being leaders in the community. When I posted what I shared the other day, I mean, that's what's special about Des Moines. People all the time, especially my folks or friends back in Denver, ask, why are you in this Midwestern town? And there's something special here, and it's the people.
Yeah.
It's the people who are not afraid to be authentic. And there's lots of people here who are networkers and great, and then there's the real ones.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, my beautiful, beautiful friend.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. Ooh. I'm going to use our little clicker. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. As you can see, I put sound. Fucking awesome. Boom. It's a wrap.
Your Sasstastic Life is produced by Apex VO. Go to apexvo.com. That's APEXXVO.